there, friends. There's Dave Paulides and Huck L. Berry. Yes, Huck, how you doing today? You being a good girl? Yes, you're being a good girl. Oh, yeah. She's a good pup. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're a good girl. Oh, scratch me, Dad. Oh, come on. Yeah, you're a good girl. Oh, yeah, you're a good girl. Yeah, it's a good girl. We took a big long drive up near the Canadian border yesterday, huh? Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's a good pup. Well, I gotta say, when somebody does something ultra kind for Huck and I, we gotta go into it. So, that was sent to us. And it's a print, digital print. Now, I'll explain to you what it says. So, on the far right side, it says, Great Pyrenees breed, origin Central Asia and Siberia. The history, the breed takes its name from the mountain range in southwestern Europe, where they used to guard flocks on steep slopes. It is thought that they followed the Aryan migration into Europe. The Great Pyrenees was loved by the peasant shepherd for its mobility in the 17th century, and it was appointed as the official French court dog. Height 25 to 32 inches, weight 100 to 140. Well, they're way off on the weight. I've seen them up to 250. The coat is thick and weather resistant. Mature males carry a ruff or mane, yeah, it looks like a lion, which extends over the neck and shoulders and is for protection. Distinct feathering on the backside of the forelegs and on the breeches. Tail is very full. Color white or white with markings of gray or badger red, reddish brown, and varying shades of tan. J.M. Paws, Canine Architect, Animal Blueprint Company, Huck L. Berry. Now this is what came with the print. Dear David, Gordy and I really enjoyed meeting you at the Bigfoot conference in Ocala last week. We only wish we could have talked some more about the unusual events over in our home state in Michigan. We're in Florida now, and I'm very happy we were able to attend the event. Please enjoy the picture. We love your beautiful dog, Huck. Be well and happy. Sincerely, Gordy and Jean. That was so nice, Gordy and Jean. It's hanging right now in my kitchen area, and it's going to stay there because I like it. So there's an area right near where our kitchen table is, and I eat, and I will look at this thing every day. And Huck walked by it the first time and goes, "Hey, what's this? That's my name." "Yeah, that's my name, huh, Huck?" "He's a good girl." "Yeah, good girl." So, thanks for being here. You are greatly appreciated. Yes, you are. And the weather has finally turned now in northwest Montana. It's pretty steamy. It's about 86 out right now. Kind of warm. Huck is very happy that she got her mane cut. And she's a lot cooler, a lot happier. I knew she would be. So there's a couple big things in the news. Oh, big news. And let's get right into it. I read this yesterday. I was stunned. I know we keep talking about bears, and I don't mean to make it a point for the whole summer, but I can't avoid this. I'm not sure if I've ever read an article quite like this one. Scavenged remains found near picnic area in Colorado. Authorities said human remains found in the vicinity of a Colorado picnic area appear to have been eaten by bear. Authorities were notified about potential human remains found near the Wild Rose picnic area off Land Ends Road on the Grand Mesa in Mesa County, Colorado. At the time of the discovery, the remains were found to have been scavenged and scattered. Authorities said in a statement, investigators with the Mesa County Sheriff's Office determined the deceased had been consumed by a bear and likely other wildlife. Officials recommend the following guidelines to prevent bear encounters, including being aware of your surroundings, staying together, not leaving food scraps or trash, keeping dogs leashed, always, setting up camp away from dense cover and natural food sources, not approaching a bear if you see it, and using bear spray if it poses a threat. Those who witness anything unusual in the area between June 22nd and July 5th are encouraged to speak with authorities. They did not release any name of a victim. They never said if they found a vehicle parked in that picnic area that appeared to be abandoned. They didn't say how the remains were discovered. And they didn't say what other animals may have had predation on the remains. But that could be bobcats, mountain lions, raccoons, possums. You don't know. It could be anything. Now, that area gets pretty wild out there very quick. We're talking about an area out there in far, I thought I printed you a map, but I didn't. Far western Colorado, right up near the Utah line. This specific place is just outside, not very far outside Grand Junction, Colorado. So, yeah, I thought it was very, very odd. Then there's another thing going on right now in the national parks that has me very concerned and very worried. Grand Canyon mystery illness reportedly triggers National Park Service investigation after rafters report alarming symptoms. The National Park Service has launched an investigation into a mystery illness affecting multiple rafters who took separate Grand Canyon trips in recent weeks. Several people took to social media last week to report a cluster of unexplained illnesses that they say have left doctors searching for answers. The rafters said they embarked on 2-week trips beginning as early as May and developed conditions after returning home. Park officials are now leading the investigation as rafters report experiencing severe and painful symptoms. NPS told Fox News Digital Friday that the agency has received reports of individuals experiencing symptoms including fever, chills, fatigue, headache, difficulty breathing, muscle or body aches, soreness, joint or bone pain, and localized swelling. The NPS Office of Health and Safety is coordinating with public health partners to investigate potential sources. Speculation about potential causes spread online, with some healthcare professionals and others weighing in on possible explanations, including mosquito-borne illnesses such as dengue fever and chikungunya. According to a Facebook group, Grand Canyon Private Boaters, 4 people became sick after a group of 16 embarked on a 2-week rafting trip in mid-June. In a July 1st post, user described a range of symptoms among the members of the group, including fever, chills, fatigue, pneumonia. He said some individuals experienced more severe complications, including fluid in the lungs and loss of consciousness. One person briefly lost consciousness in their doctor's office and was hospitalized. King also described another person who developed what he called cobblestoning, an infection or cellulitis-like condition on a bruised area on the shin. Feels like a broken bone. X-rays didn't show a break and it seemed to be healing, but getting worse. He said additional precautions were taken by some individuals because officials have yet to determine the cause. One person started receiving rabies vaccines in an abundance of caution. King reported that the group did not encounter any ticks during the trip. Separately, Matthew Wappett, who said he went to emergency room with a swollen knee and bruised, crushing joint pain after the 2-week trip in mid-May, also reported experiencing mosquito bites. We slept out every night and did get some mosquito bites, he stated in his July 2nd post. An infectious disease epidemiologist told Facebook user that the illness could potentially be linked to mosquito-borne viruses such as dengue fever. Based on the symptoms and the reports of mosquito bites, together with the lack of GI symptoms and no reports of tick bites, it's sounding viral, and symptoms are a good match for dengue. Squire said the expert noted that dengue and chikungunya are uncommon in the U.S. compared to other parts of the world, but Arizona is home to mosquitoes capable of transmitting the viruses. A healthcare professional also suggested doctors could have difficulty identifying the cause if symptoms are not identified quickly. Okay, I'm telling you right now, if I was going on a river trip in the next month in the Grand Canyon, I'd call it off. I don't want to be somebody that runs from problems, but when you have something that serious and they can't figure out what it is, no. I'm not good with any of that. And it is extremely hot in that canyon right now. So it doesn't sound, it's just me. It just doesn't sound like fun. Now, the Park Service has also announced that they have record attendance in Yosemite. I've told you guys, but I'll tell you again, do not go to any national parks in June, July, and August. It's crazy. Too many people. Right now in Glacier, I was up there the other day, and I won't go in the park right now, but around the perimeter areas, I know some places I can go where I can get away from people, but I'm looking at the park across the river. It's craziness. There's like a line of traffic going in and out constantly all day. Yeah, it's crazy. If you do go to a national park now, make sure the park doesn't take reservations. Make sure you have reservations if you're looking for a hotel or motel to go into, because there are so many people and reservations are so behind right now. I don't want you to get stuck out there in the middle of nowhere. All right. Got 2 cases today. 2 cases that kind of get me mad. And they're in far, far northern Washington. And we're talking way up there. They disappeared 5 days apart from each other and 70 air miles apart. Let me show you on a map. So right here, this line is the Canadian border. This is North Cascades National Park. First person down here, this is the Sisters. This is Mount Baker. First person entered the wilderness here. Second person entered the wilderness out here near Larch Pass. Another person says, no, they didn't enter there and they entered down here. So a lot of confusion on the second case. I will cover that with you. The first case. I'm starting to get frustrated with some people. The first case involved a man traveled down here from British Columbia. His name is Gursimran Singh. He's from Kamloops, British Columbia. 34 years old. He was driving a white Toyota pickup. White Toyota Tacoma pickup. And that is the vehicle. And they found it at this trailhead where I'm going to explain to you right now. So he entered the U.S. on the 21st of June. Family expected him out and back in Canada on the 28th of June. On the 28th, he stopped communicating. Family reported him missing when they couldn't contact him. The vehicle he was in was registered into the national computer system for law enforcement after they checked the border, and Border Patrol confirmed he did not re-enter Canada. So he's here somewhere. So they enter his vehicle, and they ended up finding it. They found it June 30th on a place called Middle Fork Road, south of the Twin Sisters in Whatcom County, Washington. So they find it on the 30th. July 1st, I don't know what they were doing, but they didn't do anything. They said the search started July 2nd. I have a tough time understanding why that delay happened. But they sent Bellingham Mountain Rescue, Whatcom County Search and Rescue, canines, helicopters, drones, and ground pounders in to find him. And Whatcom County immediately asked for assistance. Let me show you this again. Trailhead, truck parked. Nobody else in the parking lot. Friends, this area is very remote, very wild. Singh has several pictures of him posted backpacking. I mean, he sounds like he knows what he's doing in the outdoors. But nobody knows exactly where he was going or what he was doing or what the supplies were that he had. This is an area that has bears, mountain lions, a lot of things that can kill you. And it's an area just southwest of Mount Baker, a region known for an extensive amount of UFOs. In fact, Baker is famous for UFO sightings. Almost, I've been told by a lot of people, probably over 100, that anytime you want to go up to Mount Baker at night and just sit there and watch it after 10 o'clock, you can see UFOs coming and going from that place. I've never gone there to watch, so I don't know, but too many people have said that for it not to be true. Now, these type of disappearances where Singh disappears and doesn't tell anybody where he's going, what he's doing, what supplies he has, these really get me mad. As they are getting search and rescue people also mad. They don't know where to look. They don't know what the intentions. Did he go fishing? What was he doing there? Now, Whatcom County released very, very little information on the case. I found much of what I just sent you by reviewing what Canada and his newspaper up around where he lived had to say. The problem is that where he disappeared is not a big population base. When you don't have a big population base, you don't have a huge search and rescue response. And that's another problem. This county, Whatcom County, is huge. I have documented other cases. So Singh disappeared right here. Between here and here, where the other man disappeared, is 70 miles. So let's just say 35 miles is the halfway point between the two, where Northern Cascades National Park is at, up to the Canadian border. This area in here, folks, there's not much going on. It's very wild. Now, my question is, this is Mr. Singh. Did Mr. Singh know about this area? Did he know about its dangers? Did he know about mountain lions, black bears? Remember, I just told you about a case in Grand Junction about black bears eating somebody. A couple of videos ago, I told you about a black bear breaking into a tent where two women were sleeping. So yeah, there's a lot of dangers. Did Mr. Singh know about that? Nobody really knows. And that's part of the problem. You know, when we read about statistics about search and rescue not finding so many percentage of people, when they don't have a lot to work with, you can't expect them to have a big success rating. Yeah. I'm not sure he will be found. I hope he is. I hope he's fine. But with little to go on, I'm not optimistic. Now, is, and let me give you a close-up one. So here's the South Twin, here's Mount Baker. His truck was parked right down in this area right here. And that trail goes that direction up towards the Sisters. This is where UFO Central is at. And the Canadian border is right up there. Got it? Now, case number 2 is more than equally frustrating. Whatcom County put out hardly anything on Mr. Singh. And they put out hardly anything on the second case, Stephen Dorsett. This is a poster that Whatcom County put out on Stephen, 55 years old. They don't say where he's from. They don't say what he's doing. They say nothing about him except that he's carrying these items here. Now, Dave, through my research, found out a little bit about him, not a lot, but he was last heard from June 24th while allegedly leaving the Canyon Creek trailhead. That's what he told others. He told relatives he'd be gone for about 10 days, returning on about July 4th. Now, he didn't come back. Whatcom County believes he was headed to Corral Lake, C-O-R-R-A-L. Now that can be accessed by just a 2-mile hike, 2 to 3 mile hike from Larch Pass. But that's not where he was at. So it's very confusing about where he left from and where he was really going to Corral Lake. Now, Whatcom County believes that he was headed for that Corral Lake, right? But from where he left from, that was quite a hike. So they're not really sure where he went. There was lots of confusing communication from the county about this. Now, supposedly his car was found at the Canyon Oak trailhead. And he was carrying a sage green Paragon backpack and a green Marmot tent and sleeping bag. Pretty well equipped. Now, searchers said, I found one article from Canada saying that searchers believed he left the trailhead just after taking off, possibly leaving the trail. I'm guessing they got that from canines. Now, if he left the trail, where did he go? Did he have a map? Did he have GPS? Nobody knows. Investigators repeatedly said they have no clarity on where he went. As I stated in the Singh case, you might as well put a handcuff on the searchers because the chances of them finding somebody under those circumstances are almost nil. It was not reported if he had a communication tool, but he hadn't communicated with anybody. And obviously neither one of these guys had a personal locator beacon. Now, Dorsett was from Bellingham, Washington. He either worked for or had his own construction company or a construction supply company for much of his life. So here's the hard question for me. And I want you to think about this carefully. If you were the search coordinator, how long do you search for these two people? It's the same county. So you're draining resources from one to search for the other. But how long do you search? Singh's younger, probably more fit. Dorsett and Singh tell nobody where they're going. They're alone. I have not heard that anyone saw them on the trail anywhere. Both were hiking in extremely remote regions where there isn't a lot of foot traffic. Which is why Whatcom County had asked publicly for help on both cases. because they were stymied. Now, Dorsett was from the area. Bellingham is just west of where he disappeared. So he may have relatives that are on the search and rescue site hounding the searchers to keep going. I don't know. That hasn't been reported. And because Singh's relatives are in Kamloops, quite a distance away in British Columbia, it's doubtful that they came down and hounded the searchers. Remember when I talked to you before about should the searchers or the county be reimbursed for efforts to find find victims? And almost overwhelmingly, all of you say no. So this is the kind of case where I get a little upset about, because each person was very inconsiderate about people finding them if they get lost. Each one of you out there, pay attention. Any of you could get lost. And if you don't think you can, you ought to start reading my books. And you could get them in your local library. I'll start with Missing 411. I've had people from the most experienced outdoorsman you can imagine to the novice get lost. So if you think, oh, it's not going to happen for me, you are the one that it's going to happen to. So when these people go out ill-prepared, don't tell anyone exactly where they're going, aren't carrying emergency location equipment, where does the responsibility end on the drain on public services? I agree, it's a life. And I agree that stupidity shouldn't be a judge on how long a search goes on. But you see, a county gives a budget to the sheriff. Here's your budget for the year. And the sheriff budgets this for patrolling the county, and deputies pay for patrolling. He has to keep a budget for the jail and watching prisoners in the jail. And then he has to have a budget for detectives. He has all these different budgets. And then he has to save money for search and rescue. Helicopter time, canine handler time, etc. So do you drain that budget for these two when you have five months out of the year to go and the biggest summer still to go? It's not an easy equation to come up with a quick answer. And I'm not saying the answer is easy or quick. But I am saying in these two cases, Dave is very frustrated. Neither one's been found. And the search goes on. Now, last thing I want to talk to you about, and some of you have written some so very derogatory comments about me talking about mental health. I don't care what you think about it. I'm going to keep talking about it because so many of you have said it's helped you. Well, that's good. We all go through tough times. Hopefully we all get through it. And I've repeatedly told you that please, if you're in one of those tough times, contact NAMI, N-A-M-I. It's online. They are the best organization I have ever found, and I've attended their meetings to help people with mental health conditions, family, friends, and the victim. And I know if you're a victim, your natural inclination is to shell up and be in your room and not go out and not talk to anybody. It's actually the exact wrong thing to do. Once you go out and you meet these people, you're going to find out that they have people in these meetings that have gone through exactly what you went through. And they're going to talk to you and they're going to give you help and they're going to give you resources and they're going to boost you up and say, hey, if I can make it, you can make it. And this is how I made it. And you might find tools to put in that tool chest of yours to help. But sitting in your room, in the dark, isn't going to help. It's only going to get worse. Remember, the sun is the natural antiseptic. The sun cures a lot of things. Vitamin D is good. Get out there, hike around the neighborhood, walk around the neighborhood, go up into the mountains, hike around a bit, tell someone where you're going. Do it. Which is why I do it. It clears my mind. And you know what? When I'm walking out there and Huck's in front of me just huffing and looking back at me, making sure I'm there, gives me a good feeling. I thank you for being here. And not everyone is perfect. I sure as heck am not. But you know what? I try. I try every day for you. Missing411.com is our website. We have over 1,000 videos right here, right now. If you look at your screen, see the little red insignia that says Canine Missing? Click on that, and that'll take you to all of our videos. Be safe, be kind. Paulides out.